This video is for the Managing Innovation class. We will be talking about the global fintech industry. So where exactly did fintech start from? Fintech has been there from the beginning with the barter system. The start of fintech dates back to 1866 when the first transatlantic cable was laid. This served as an infrastructure for globalized finance from 1866 to 1913. In 1913, Fedwire was introduced with the help of telegraph and Morse code, which was the first electronic fund transfer. In the 1950s, credit card was introduced first through Diners Club and later through American Express. The first activities from the year 1866 laid the foundation for what we call fintech now. Now we will be looking at the S-curve. The scope of this S-curve has been limited from 1980s to the present age. The reason being the introduction of transatlantic cable laid the foundation for the leverage and the use of internet and its network in terms of finance industry and finance organizations all in the world. So the first step was in 1980s when the transatlantic cable was laid. In 2008, Bitcoin, blockchain, and AI were introduced, which consequently gave rise to an alternative finance market. And from in the future, we expect Internet of Things, blockchain, AI to regulate the corporations to finance industry and government, and consequently affect the government policies towards financial markets. According to Goldman Sachs, the whole fintech market is estimated to be $4.7 trillion right now. 24% of the people in the globe are already familiar with the concept of blockchain. This is excluding the developing markets where there is a burgeoning middle class, which consequently means that more people would get familiarized and the technology would propagate faster. In terms of the number of startups, there are around 12,000 fintech startups worldwide right now. 64% of the consumers have used two or more fintech services. So fintech combined with the sharing platform would offer tremendous value to consumers and give way to radical and incremental innovation. Thereof, fintech can be classified into three versions: Fintech 1.0, Fintech 2.0, Fintech 3.0, and 3.5, which will be considered part of the third version but is a new phenomenon, Fintech 1.0. So, when the financial industry first got connected by technology by the laying of the first transatlantic cable, but mostly remained analog. That was the phase of the version 1. The phase of version 2 was when the first ATM machine was introduced by Barclays in the year 1867. This was a transition from phase 1.2 to 2.2, which leveraged internet and its services for consumers to have ease of access to cash and for the banks to have provide better services to their consumers. The third version is the Fintech 3.0. This dealt with digitization of finance and financial services. The first digital stock exchange and SWIFT were established. Computer and internet development introduces online banking to the world. Fundamental shift in how people deal with financial markets, and the global financial crisis in 2008 put an stop to this juggernaut. Now we are looking at a version called 3.5, which is part of through, but mainly propelled by parts of Asia and Africa. This can also be contributed to deliberate government policy for economic growth, so that so the countries which didn't have a chance to go through a part of industrial revolution that phase, they can bypass it and leverage this. So consequently, the government brought in some policy changes at various parts of Africa and Asia, which gave rise to the FinTech version 3.5. Fintech is gaining traction around the world and with the consumers. The points mentioned here would provide shed light to the fact that fintech and its adoption has its gains. Some of the fintech innovation areas are banking, managing core businesses through AI, personalized advice platform, insurance, pension, lending and crowdfunding, security and identity, mortgage and real estate, blockchain, which fundamentally will alter many industries and create a new business models, and payment technologies. This picture gives light to the fintech ecosystem in terms of mobile biometrics, open banking APIs, tech, big data, blockchain, and AI. So there are 22 billion euros invested in fintechs globally as of 2017, and 14,000 plus emerging startups are at play right now. This picture shows us the fintech startups by region in terms of Americas, EMEA, and APAC region. This picture shows us all the startups which are at play in terms of different subsystems within the fintech ecosystem. So these are the startups which are functioning and venture backed. For fintechs to be targeted, the customer segmentation can be done in terms of normal consumers, high net worth individuals, B2B SMEs, and B2B enterprise. So various forms of value offered by different organizations can be targeted to specific consumer segments. The innovation strategy formed by fintech firms is disruptive innovation. The facets of innovation related to fintech, it's a radical innovation at the start and become incrementally progressive. It's completely enhancing blockchain and AI based on architecture for new industries and creation of new industries. The innovation also represents a form of technological system innovation where established technology is disrupted but applied to an existing market. The technology of fintech is a form of architectural innovation where both radical technological change and radical incremental market change are at play. The organization can follow the steps mentioned to embrace innovation. Innovation can be considered both as a positive and negative force. Here we are looking at the innovation strategy in terms of the triple C model: create, convert, and capture. Create value, convert. Fintech will drive new business model and create new markets. Two specific aspects of fintech what excites is blockchain and artificial intelligence. Blockchains are mutually distributed ledgers with potential to transform the way people and organizations handle identity, transaction, and debt information. It provides complete transparency. But the catch here is, can the public records and the transparency can be hacked? So organizations also have to bear in mind cybersecurity in terms of the operations of their firms. Blockchain consists of three main complementary parts: a shared state, a set of rules for updating state via blocks, and a trust model for timestamping, which ensures accountability. Here the information is presented about the application of blockchain in bitcoins. So what are the actions to be taken by organization to adopt the fintech? Revamp the organization IT model to adapt to a new normal, adopt AI, phase out or simplify legacy systems, leverage financial resources to build in-house technological capabilities, adapt your architecture to connect to everything and everywhere, place priority on cybersecurity. Cybersecurity will be a make or break deal for the organization, attract the highest talent and develop the necessary skills. Thank you for taking the time to look at this video. I hope you enjoyed it.